A drastic change in weather after a dry summer, so grab your umbrellas. The government is racing against the clock to prevent a shutdown, and COVID vaccine boosters are now available to Oklahomans. This is OU Nightly. A month without rain is finally over as campus copes with a wet Thursday. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Alyse Jones.
And I'm Kolby Terrell. We begin tonight with an update on the rainy weather conditions here in central Oklahoma. Emma Landeros joins us with the latest. Emma?
Well, we definitely saw some of that well-deserved rain that we haven't been seeing in almost a month so far. Most of that rain, though, now is slowly headed now towards the east. We're finally starting to dry off just a little bit, but Peyton is outside right now. Peyton, hopefully you're staying dry out there.
Down like it has been much of today. Walking to class today, students were pretty caught off guard. They didn't have their umbrella or their rain boots, and the rain continued to come down. We've seen close to about half an inch here in Norman, some ponding on the roadways, and going into tonight, there is still a chance of some rainfall even going into this weekend. Emma's going to have more on that, so back to her in the studio.
Well, for the most part, again, with Future Track, I'll have more details on that. Tomorrow is also the first day of October, and I'll have that lookout for you as well as some cooler temperatures that we're going to be seeing, some finally that fall-like temperatures for you. But for now, that's it.
Thanks, Emma. With funds running low, the United States government works to prevent a shutdown.
The U.S. Congress has come to an agreement on the continuing resolution to keep the government open and prevent a federal government shutdown, extending the government's funding through December. Zaria Oates.
While this bill extends the government's operating date, the debt ceiling suspension still needs to pass the Senate. The House voted Wednesday evening to suspend the U.S. debt ceiling, but the Senate is not expected to pass the bill. Without a suspension of the debt ceiling, the government will run out of money by October 18th. Republicans initially refused to raise or suspend the debt limit.
We will not provide Republican votes for raising the debt limit.
But Americans are hoping the animosity between parties subsides as it did for the continuing resolution to prevent the government from failing to be able to pay its debts, which would be the country's first ever default.
That was Zaria Oates reporting from Washington. While voting in agreement can delay a government shutdown, the continuing resolution has to be signed by President Biden before government funding runs out.
The commute to work this morning took a little longer than usual for Californians that crossed the Golden Gate Bridge.
Purpura has the story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Alyse. The Golden Gate Bridge was blocked by around 40 undocumented families and allies early this morning. The group said they were upset immigration reform was not included in the budget reconciliation bill and planned to block the bridge for 20 minutes. But the California Highway Patrol decided to detain the protesters, causing traffic to hold up for around an hour. The protesters were then moved to Vista Point, where 5 people were arrested. A 13-year-old is hospitalized after a shooting at an elementary school. The suspect is a student at Memphis Elementary and fled the scene in a vehicle. The suspect later turned themselves in and is now in custody. No other injuries were reported, but parents are still shaken.
It's very heartbreaking because these are kids. Why would you shoot kids? They're innocent.
An official arrest has not been made, and the Memphis Police Department is still investigating. FBI agents are still searching for Brian Laundrie 16 days after his last sighting. Agents returned to his home today to collect more personal belongings that may assist canines in the search. Despite being a person of interest in the case, Laundrie is not wanted for a crime related to the death of Gabby Petito, but for suspicion of using a debit card that did not belong to him. 2 rewards totaling $30,000 have been offered to anyone that can tell law enforcement where Laundrie is. And the FBI also issued a number of subpoenas in the Russia investigation, including a law firm with close ties to the 2016 Clinton campaign. Thanks, and back to Kolby.
Thank you, Pepper. The Oklahoma State Health Department reports around 1,800 new COVID-19 cases. That brings the state's active cases to well over 11,000. Oklahoma's death count has hit 10,286, and 47% of Oklahomans are fully vaccinated, while 56% have had at least one dose.
Well, the FDA authorized and the CDC approved a single booster dose of the Pfizer vaccine for more than just the immunocompromised this week. OU Nightly's Audrey Goodson spoke with state health officials on who can now receive the booster and joins us live.
Kolby, Alyse, adults who are immunocompromised or working in high-risk environments and all senior citizens are now eligible for a Pfizer COVID-19 booster. State health officials say COVID-19 boosters are readily available in every county in the state, and there is no shortage in supply. Doctors urge eligible Oklahomans to take extra defense.
The booster dose recommendation does not mean that the vaccine doesn't work or that it doesn't work as well as protected.
And if you're eligible for the third Pfizer booster, you can get one wherever they're available. If you have questions, talk to your personal physician.
Thanks, Audrey. It's been a long battle for one pop star.
But she's one step closer to freedom. Find out the latest on the Britney Spears case.
Plus, the race for Norman's next mayor is heating up.
When we come back, we'll give you a look at the newest candidate in the lineup.
I am not putting up with this anymore. Putting up with what? I am back to people. I am out of here.
One day, this will be your office. You'll track the storms, send out the warning, and save lives. One day, you'll teach here too. You'll tell others just like you why you became a meteorologist. But first, you have to become a student. And you'll do that right here at the National Weather Center.
This is you at OU. What will you learn? How will you excel? What path will you lead? Who will you impact? What will you do at OU?
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
After years of fighting for her freedom, there's finally a big breakthrough for Britney.
Deyton Deller has the latest on Britney Spears' conservatorship and the rest of entertainment news.
Thanks, guys. After a long battle, Britney Spears' father has officially been suspended as her conservator. A Los Angeles court judge removed Jamie Spears and selected a temporary replacement to oversee her finances. For 13 years, Jamie Spears has controlled every aspect of Britney's life. Her attorney, Matt Rosengart, describes him as a cruel and toxic man. He also accused him of secretly recording Britney in her bedroom.
In regard to eavesdropping, putting a listening device under Britney Spears' bed in her bedroom, something that's very, very troubling. That's something that it is for law enforcement and not myself to make the ultimate conclusion on.
As of now, the judge ordered that Jamie turn over all books and records during his time as conservator. A hearing on whether to terminate the conservatorship altogether is scheduled for November 12th. And Google Maps is introducing a new safety tool that alerts those in the area when a fire has been reported. Like traffic and tree cover, the company is adding a fire layer to the map to make the app more useful during emergencies. Users will be able to tap a fire on the maps for direct links to evacuation information and data such as road closures, containment, and number of acres burned. And YouTube is now cracking down on vaccine misinformation. The company will ban any video that claims that any and all approved vaccines are unsafe and cause severe health effects. This move follows other social media apps, Facebook and Instagram. Since last year, YouTube says they have removed over 130,000 videos for violating its COVID-19 policies. And in other news, as of today, TikTok has reached over 1 billion users. And meanwhile, I can't even reach 100 followers. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Deyton. I'll be sure to give you a follow. Campaigning for Norman mayor is now underway, and a well-known Norman resident is running. Midway Deli owner Bob Thompson is throwing his hat in the ring. After being a resident and business owner in Norman for over 30 years, Thompson decided it was time for him to make a change in a different way for the Norman community.
Right now, we just have a real divisive atmosphere in town. And I think that it puts us in a place where people maybe are not as willing to work together as they should be able to.
The election will take place in February of 2022.
With the holiday season approaching, one retail giant is hoping to hire thousands of new employees.
But a nationwide labor shortage may give them trouble in their search.
Plus, today's the first time it's rained in weeks. Emma, is it here to stay?
I think for at least the next few days it is here to stay. It's much deserved, but I'll have all those details after the break.
I will never forget this day. In this moment, it's as if time itself has stopped for us. The thought of being here with you. When two become one. I will never forget this day. Your opioid addiction affects more than just you. Get help. Visit ok.gov/health.
This is Tehani. She likes to play with her friends and has dreams of becoming a doctor. But when COVID-19 devastated her community, she was taken out of school and forced into marriage at just 12 years old. Tehani and thousands of other child brides are facing domestic abuse, female genital mutilation, and life-threatening pregnancies. And the pandemic is causing these numbers to rise. Too Young to Wed envisions a world where girls are free to simply be children and determine the course of their own lives. Will you help us?
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
we should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
And welcome back to OU Nightly. Not only did we get some well-deserved rain, but not only did that affect us in that condition, but we also saw some cooler temperatures right now. Current temperatures, we are in those 60s, so it is finally feeling a little bit more like fall. We're not seeing those humid upper 90s like we have been the past few days. Now, live radar right now, we did have a few showers and thunderstorms earlier this morning, but now most of that continues to push itself further towards the east, kind of lingering showers here and there. But for right now, I am going to pass it over to Peyton, who is live right now and who can tell us a little bit more about what we saw earlier. Peyton?
And the rain is still coming down. I can still feel it sprinkling here and there. And although the heavy bands have moved eastward, you can still see students walking by with their umbrellas, walking to and from class. a little bit of puddling on the sidewalk as cars drive by, and those windshield wipers are still going. But it is pretty cool out here after that rain came through. Can you tell us a little bit more about it, Emma?
Well, looking at that 24-hour temperature change, we did get almost a little bit over 20-degree temperature change. Now, this is quite a big dip in our temperatures, and you can also see who hasn't seen much of that rain here in Idabel, who has increased 6 degrees in temperatures. But these cooler temperatures are here to stay for the rest of the week right now, as well as that rainfall, at least for Friday and Saturday. These are at least the next 2 days of when we can see a little bit more of that heavy rainfall for us. Now, we do have just the very slightest chance for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. This is just more lingering showers that could come from Saturday into Sunday. But again, if we go ahead and track out that future track for you going into the remainder of this evening, again, just continuing to see just lingering showers and thunderstorms. And then as we move in early hours on Friday, 4 or 5 in the morning, you start to see more increasing here in central Oklahoma. Again, pretty much just scattered overall, and continuing on into Friday, a little bit more activity here over in Cleveland County, and then a little bit more of that heavy rainfall will stick around mainly towards the east by around 5 or 6. So again, if you do have those Friday plans, make sure to have that umbrella as well as your raincoat. And for your Saturday, waking up, you might want to keep that umbrella with you, as those rain chances are really going to pick up mainly here in central Oklahoma, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then again, similar to today, it's going to push its way out, and early by Sunday, continuing to see just some lingering showers mainly towards the south. But for here, you can plan on staying fairly dry for your Sunday and hopefully even into Monday. Now, we might not see those, we're continuing to see quite a bit of that drought for us, severe to even extreme in these areas shaded in red. And this was updated early this morning. Now, by this time, by the time it updated, we didn't have all of that rain that we saw earlier throughout today. So I am expected for this not to be nearly as bad for this time in 1 week. These do update every Thursday, so hopefully we no longer continue to see that extreme drought for us. But again, throughout October, we will be starting off fairly nice. For October 1st, we will be in those upper 70s for us, seeing some calm winds. But again, just keep that umbrella close by, and we'll also be seeing those falling temperatures. We're going to be quite below average for the most part, continuing on into Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday, staying in those low 80s to even upper 70s. But right now, continuing to see lots of that cloud coverage overall. Temperatures in those 60s with those calm winds. And for the next few days, first day of October is tomorrow, with that highest chance to see any form of rain. But for the next few days, we'll be in those upper 70s to low 80s, starting to see a little bit more of that sunshine. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Emma. Great news for Oklahoma City residents. The city is now ranked as having the lowest unemployment rate in the country. But that could spell trouble for retail giants like Walmart. Walmart says it's planning to hire 150,000 new associates for stores across the U.S. Most will be for permanent full-time positions, but some will be on holiday season associates. Walmart has increased its pay $16.40 an hour to attract more employees during the labor shortage.
Well, the Sooners are on the road to the Little Apple this weekend.
Stone Weber has the preview for this week's game and more in sports.
The Sooners head to Manhattan to get revenge on the Wildcats. And with NBA Media Day, players are voicing their opinions about the vaccine. Sports is next.
It just takes a moment to spread from one person to another. So how do you break the germ cycle? Wash your hands often and always after coughing, sneezing, handling food, and going to the bathroom. Lather the front, back, and in between for at least 20 seconds. If there's no soap or water available, use a hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Regularly disinfect common surfaces, including your phone. These small things can help break the germ cycle.
This is you at OU. What will you learn? How will you excel? What path will you lead? Who will you impact? What will you do at OU?
Scene 103, take one.
I have been 100% into getting vaccinated, and then I asked you, and you hesitated.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be on the same page about this, and we're not.
I feel like even if I were to catch it, my body is strong enough to fight it off.
What if you're one of those cases and you end up in the hospital?
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of.
I'm Stone Weber, and it is time for your sports. OU is headed to Manhattan this weekend as they take on the Kansas State Wildcats. The Sooners are looking to end a 2-year losing streak to K-State. The Sooners fell at home to the Wildcats 38-31 in 2020 and almost completed a 25-point comeback in 2019 before coming up short 48-41. Quarterback Spencer Rattler says the team has learned a lot from those losses. And OU soccer is coming off a 4-3 loss in the Red River matchup against Texas. Those 3 goals add to the 18 total goals this season for the Sooners, compared to just 7 total last season. The team now travels to Morgantown to take on the 12th-ranked Mountaineers, who average a whopping 2.3 goals per match and 14.5 shots per game. Kickoff is Friday at 6 p.m. Former Sooner and 3rd overall pick Gerald McCoy is now serving a 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. McCoy suffered a season-ending injury in his first game as a Las Vegas Raider. McCoy has 59.5 sacks and 193 tackles in his 11 seasons in the NFL. It's the battle of the first overall picks as Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars take on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Lawrence is not having the start he expected as he's thrown 7 interceptions this season, already 2 more than his junior campaign at Clemson. Kickoff from Paul Brown Stadium is at 7:20 on Fox. NBA Media Days started this week, and the biggest storyline so far is unvaccinated players. Local COVID-19 requirements will be in effect for the NBA teams in those cities. Players that do not comply with local vaccination mandates will not be paid for missed games. The biggest player this impacts is Kyrie Irving. The Nets guard has been vocal in his beliefs against the vaccine. It could potentially lose some serious money for it. The wildcard race is heating up, and with just 4 days to play, the pennant race is wide open. The Yankees and Red Sox hold the 2 wildcard spots for the American League, but the Mariners and Blue Jays are close behind, sitting at half a game back and 1 game back respectively. The Yankees take on the Blue Jays tonight, and if the Blue Jays prevail, they'll be tied with the Mariners a half game back. And heading over to the links, the PGA announced today the Farmers Insurance Open will move to a Saturday finish. This change was made to avoid conflict with the NFL's Conference Championship weekend. The tournament will now start on Wednesday, January 26th and end on Saturday, January 29th. I've been working on my swing, so hopefully I can qualify for the 2023 tournament. Alyse, Kolby, back to you.
Thanks, Stone. This cold weather makes me want to curl in a ball. Go to sleep.
Well, you're not alone in that. It is almost hibernation season, and the Bears have their own week to celebrate it. Find out more when OU Nightly returns.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
I'm Jayden Brannon at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The shooter from a deadly 2019 synagogue shooting in California is no longer facing the death penalty. John T. Ernest has been resentenced to life in prison. This conclusion came after consulting with the victims and their families. Ernest has pleaded guilty to more than 100 federal hate crimes. Back to you in the studio. Well, when cold weather arrives, so does Fat Bear Week.
And as those bears prepare for winter, they pack on the pounds to get ready to compete.
The competition pits the bulky bears head to head.
The bracket may look like March Madness, but really it's to vote on your favorite fatty.
Voting ends on October 5th, so be sure to go cast in your ballot.
And speaking of hibernation, Emma, do I need to put on pounds for this cold weather?
Maybe not anytime soon. You know, we did, after almost a month without any form of rainfall, finally had some today, and I'm sure it caught a few students off guard as they headed to class earlier this morning. I know a few people were running to class as they didn't come prepared with an umbrella or even a raincoat, but this is your fair warning to keep that next to you as you go throughout your day. Tomorrow, as we do have that 70% chance to see some showers and thunderstorms with us, and again, that is going to keep lingering into Saturday. So if you do have any of those weekend plans, keep that in mind. Keep that raincoat, rain boots, or umbrella. But again, for your Sunday, we could or possibly see a few lingering showers here and there. But Friday and Saturday is really just the main concern for us. And again, Friday is the first day of October, and we are welcoming it with some rainfall as well as these fall-like temperatures for us. By the start of your weekend, though, we are going to be feeling fairly nice in those upper 70s overall. No 90s here, maybe an 80 every once in a while, but we will see some of that nice sunshine for us. And here by Sunday night into Monday, we will already be dropping into those 50s, staying in those really mid to upper 50s overall. So Kolby and Alyse, I don't know about you, I'm a big fall lover, so I'm not sure if you're looking forward to those fall-like temperatures coming up next week.
I definitely will be looking forward to it. Thank you, Emma, and thanks for watching OU Nightly.
Be sure to tune in every weekday live at 4:30.
Have a good night.